your 420 Radio News for Tuesday, January 28th, 2014, brought to you by the National Cannabis Coalition. I'm Russ Belville. NBC News is the latest organization to record nationwide majority support for marijuana legalization. 55% of Americans surveyed would support laws in their state, like Washington and Colorado, where adults 21 and older are allowed to possess and use cannabis. Another 24% of respondents would not seek to repeal a legalization law if it was passed in their state. As usual, people under age 35 overwhelmingly support legalization by a 49-point margin, while people over age 65 oppose legalization by a 21-point margin. Democrats are for legalization by 34 points, and independents favor legalization by 21 points, while Republicans oppose legalization by 23 points. There remains a gender gap. 59% of men support legalization versus 51% of women. White American support of legalization lags behind African Americans and Hispanics, and this marks the 15th poll in the past 5 years that has recorded majority support for marijuana legalization. The Marijuana Policy Project today announced the placement of 5 marijuana is safer billboards in the New Jersey area around the Super Bowl. 2 ads featuring anonymous football players, one ad in Seahawks colors and the other in Broncos colors, states, quote, "Marijuana is less harmful to our bodies than alcohol," then asks, "Why does the league punish us for making the safer choice?" End quote. 2 other ads state that marijuana is, quote, "safer than alcohol and football," end quote. And the 5th ad compares the nearly 750,000 arrests for marijuana possession last year to the 750,000 attendees of the last 10 Super Bowls. The billboards are located on I-78 near the New Jersey Turnpike Toll Plaza in Newark, on I-495 leading to the Lincoln Tunnel in North Bergen, and on I-80 East off the Turnpike in Teaneck. 2 more are located on the Garden State Parkway near the Raritan Toll Plaza north of Sayreville. Connecticut Governor Daniel Malloy announced the approval of 4 applications to produce medical marijuana statewide. The state added a 4th farm license after updating estimates of production that were necessary to serve the state's 1,684 registered patients. 16 companies paid a non-refundable $25,000 fee to apply. The 4 companies that will be growing medical cannabis had to set up a $2 million escrow account to qualify to pay a $75,000 annual fee for their license. Producers, therefore, will have generated $700,000 for the state even before the first medical marijuana is sold. An additional 27 companies have paid a non-refundable $1,000 fee, hoping to land one of the 3 to 5 expected dispensary licenses, which will cost $5,000 annually. Connecticut is home to over 3.5 million people, making its 46.8 patients per 100,000, the second lowest rate in the nation, next to New Jersey's 13.5 per 100,000. Medical marijuana was approved last year in Maryland, but the state is no closer to providing medicine to patients. Last year, the legislature approved a program to distribute medical marijuana through research hospitals, but so far, no regulations have been written and no hospitals have chosen to do the research. The hospitals have been reluctant to get involved, citing the federal funds they receive that would be jeopardized by studying the Schedule I drug. Plus, access to marijuana would be limited to the federal government supply at the University of Mississippi, which they'd be reluctant at best to allow. Delegate Dan K. Morheim, a Baltimore County Democrat and the Assembly's only medical doctor, plans to introduce a new bill that would allow physicians to recommend marijuana rather than require the hospitals to distribute it, leaving it up to patients to find their supply. For now, patients still face arrest in Maryland, but may provide an affirmative defense of medical necessity in court. A Georgia lawmaker has filed a bill to revive the state's dormant 1980 medical marijuana law. The law was championed by a woman named Mona Taft, whose husband Harris used cannabis in his battle with cancer up to his death in 1979. The law empowers the Georgia Composite Medical Board to supply medical marijuana to doctors and patients seeking relief for cancer and glaucoma, and the new bill by Representative Alan Peake would add epilepsy to that list. The board, however, has been dormant for 2 decades, and the federal government stopped supplying the only legal source of cannabis in 1982. Representative Peake's bill would limit marijuana to just the high CBD oil popularized in the Sanjay Gupta documentary Weed. Only doctors at 5 research universities would be able to recommend cannabis. This has been your 420 Radio News for Tuesday, January 28th, 2014. I'm Russ Belville. You can get the transcripts of our 420 Radio News every day at the National Cannabis Coalition website. Visit ncc420.com for more. When we come back, we'll go behind the headlines and take a look at the polls, 15 of them now, that have shown majority support for marijuana legalization in the United States. You're listening to The Russ Belville Show on 420radio.org. We'll be right back.